Welcome to Woo New, a show that explores healing and the expansion of our consciousness.
Where we explore all kinds of different energy modalities, therapies, and ideas that bring us closer to our collective liberation.
I'm Ellen, and I'm a journey work guide.
I'm Sam, and I am an integrative energy therapist.
And together, we are the co-creators of We Are All Daughters,
a quantum healing space dedicated to helping us reconnect to ourselves, our bodies, each other, and the universe.
Today we have a really special guest. Her name is Jamie Nee, and she is the creator of Sonouros, which is a platform that represents a space to find ourselves and to go within when the world is clamoring for us to seek our answers outside of ourselves. She describes it as a time and a place where we put ourselves first by creating aligned rituals and choose practices that help us find ourselves. And I had the pleasure of meeting Jamie through Mimi Young's mystery mentorship program about, I guess it would be 2 years ago now. Yeah, it started in 2020. And Jamie and I started to get to know each other last year, really through Instagram and just through Clubhouse. I think you were holding some spaces with Flo, who we've had on our podcast as well. But we're just so grateful to have you here, Jamie, and to learn from you and to hear about your journey of healing as well. So welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. We, I think, met during the wood and metal portion of the mystery mentorship.
Mm-hmm. That was a beautiful container. I think we were learning a lot about the I Ching then. Mm-hmm. And yeah, I think the thing that struck me most about you is really your energy. And I think after I started really kind of following you and seeing what you were posting on Instagram, that was so helpful, that was so aligned to the seasons. And there were all these like little like acupressure tips that were so easy to do. And, you know, even aside from the tips themselves, it was your delivery. I think it's the videos and your voice and everything that was so calming that I just wanted to watch the videos for that, you know?
Oh my gosh. I went down the rabbit hole this morning. I was like obsessed with every post. I was like, this is such good content. Oh my God. It's like such a gift.
Thank you. Yeah, that's how I have wanted to learn acupressure. That's how I've wanted to connect and understand Chinese medicine. And from my experience, it's not always that way. Right. I think definitely, especially like if you go and talk about traditional Chinese medicine, you get really like deep into that part of healing and wellness. There can be some rigidity and some, I think, colonization of what I think the spirit of Chinese medicine really is about. So we can get into it. It could be very controversial, or
we're all for controversial here.
Yeah. Okay.
I love it.
So
let's dig in.
To me, it's like very whitewashed. It's very colonized. It's very look for that power outside of yourself, right? Like go to somebody else, have somebody else tell you what's wrong with you, have somebody else diagnose you, have somebody else use needles or muksa or, you know, any of these sacred medicines and practices to tune you up because you're not necessarily capable of it. And I don't really care for that point of view on healing. I don't really care for that point of view on medicine. I think that most of the medicine that we need, especially in this time and this age, is from inside of us.
Oh my my gosh, you're in such good company because Ellen and I talk about this all the time. We're like, it is about your own connection to your body, to your healing, to your spirituality, to your guides. Like, everything is so unique
Yeah.
to each individual experience that it's like, how can someone else possibly know?
Yeah, no one can. No one else could know but you. So I think, especially in America, and if you go through like Chinese history, there was kind of a wiping and erasing of the actual folk medicine, the traditional medicine that the people used to practice, right? They would practice it on each other in family systems. And that was kind of wiped when Mao was in power. He really didn't want people to, this is also controversial.
I love it.
Right? Like, if you think about communism, you want everyone to be equal, you want everyone to have the same thing, right? So people who are really in touch with their own life source, with their own chi, with that power that's inside of them, they're not going to be easy to control. They're not going to be easy to convince. They're not going to be easy to brainwash. They're really going to be sovereign. And so a lot of these practices, the Qigong, even like that ability to read the I Ching for yourself, all these things were kind of burned. The books were burned. The Chinese medicine doctors who had been practicing for years and years and years were kind of like kept away from the common people. All these things were kind of put behind a barrier. So Mao and, maybe his upper tier people would get access to it, but your common person was restricted.
God, it's so helpful to understand this history, and to understand how we are where we're at now.
Yeah.
And just even the continuation of that. It's like control or power over,
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I think that's what strikes me so much about what it is that you do and sort of your mission, it's so much about empowerment. And I just feel like even with this last, I think it was the Virgo full moon, I want to say. Yeah, I think that's what it was. It was like where it was so much about like kind of taking back your power. And I feel like this whole last month, Sam and I actually had this conversation too, where so many themes that we're seeing among our clients and the circles that we've been guiding or facilitating has all been centered around reclaiming your power and empowerment. So I feel like this conversation is super timely too.
Yeah. It's so crazy. I was like, this is literally like we're going through a collective reclamation, and it's so incredible to watch. And that's why when I was like reading about your mission, I was like, this is everything right here. Like, this is so powerful what you've created. And I'm so fascinated, like, how you came to this idea and what was the inspiration behind it.
For me, this space that I'm holding is space that I wish that I had growing up as, a young Chinese American girl in a mostly, right, predominantly white town. There was so much self-censorship. There was so much awareness or self-criticism, because when you are not the predominant race or identity that an area or an environment has, you are always on edge. You are always a little bit worried or uncomfortable, or there's just that sense of like, I do have to be aware or on alert. And one of the first things for me to go was just the things that my parents held sacred, right? To me, I was like, oh, this is just the stuff that my parents are holding sacred, not really thinking about the fact that they immigrated here, what they had to do to preserve those traditions, those things that they hold sacred, what their parents had to do to hold that sacred, and like down the line, right? Every single ancestor before you or me or any of us has had to protect something, has had to hold something sacred, has had to love something so much that they want to pass it on. And I think that's extremely precious. And so, you know, I went through that very typical, I think, growing up in America as Chinese American or as Asian American journey where, you know, there was times where I was like, this, I just want to be like everyone else. I just want to be American. I just want to fit in. I don't want to be different. I don't want to be weird. I just want to fit in.
Totally.
Right. And then going through that, I abandoned a lot of these cultural practices or like anchors that gave me connection to my family and my ancestors. And at the time I didn't realize it, but I like amputated a great part of my spirit, a great part of my soul. You know, for for the simple act of fitting in, right? Of wanting to belong. And I think we all want to belong. And I think that's the power of love, that we get to create spaces where people can belong. So, long story short, I think, you know, I chained myself, I caged myself, I made myself fit into smaller and smaller boxes. But I'm a witch. I've always been a witch. My mom's a witch. My dad's a witch. We're all weirdly psychic. um, and the area of China that my family is from is known for being very good with money. So I'm embarrassed to say it, but that idea of green witch, or maybe I'm not embarrassed. I think I've shed that embarrassment recently. For me, that idea of green witch is not just green like plants, but green like life, green like money,
Wow.
green like growth. Yeah. And it's, you know, we're in the spring season. So if we want to go through that real quick too, like that's the same energy of this season. There is a violence to growth that we don't ever talk about, but it's there.
God, that is okay. I'm gonna just stop you right
I'm
there.
so fascinated by everything. I have like 1,000 questions.
I know, I know. I mean, even the notion of green, I've never thought about it in that way. And it's so fucking true. Like all of everything you just shared, every single word, I was just like, oh my God, say more. I just want to share this in sort of like reflection to what you just shared. For me, I've always had this like very complicated relationship with money. And I think, you know, from where Sam and I come from in the agency world, I think we were seeing so much of it as, you know, we were seeing so much greed, really. It was a lot of like money over everything else, like money over well-being. And so there came to a point in my, you know, not even that like far back kind of life, you know, where I was just like, money sucks, you know, like I don't want to have that be the reason why I do anything, you know, it's like I vilified it. And just like literally last week, for the first time ever, I was standing at my altar and I was talking to money and I was like, I want to know you like I know my guides. Like I want to know you like I know the cedars and the pines. And I want to invite you in to help me and to like teach me, you know? And I like so respect you. And I'm so sad and like heartbroken that I vilified you for so long, you know? Like I just want to have a beautiful, close relationship with you. And it's like starting, even just that declaration, it's starting to change my my connection to money in the way that like it's like I'm really kind of trying to create a different new relationship in the same way I have with like the sacred mushroom, and just be able to honor money for the beautiful energy that they are, you know.
Oh,
Uh-oh, did we lose her?
I think we might have.
Okay, here we go. Hey, Jamie.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi. I think what we're talking about is like shattering too many things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
There's
exactly.
like so many declarations energetically.
Yeah. It's like you're breaking the matrix too much, so we're gonna shut this down. You gotta hit refresh.
I know. I was like, uh-oh. Like, I don't know if she's still here. Um, did you, where did you drop off? Or like, did
I
you hear
heard
everything?
pine.
Okay.
That's the last thing I
Yeah, I was just saying that like I really was talking to money and I just wanted money to like I wanted to befriend money in the same way that I talked to the pines and the cedars and I talked to those sacred mushrooms even, like and really regard it and respect money as like the beautiful energy that they are instead of like in the past this like vilifying of this energy and thinking that it only brings bad things when in fact really money is just it's
It's
just
just
as
energy.
potent. Yeah, and it's
heard.
just as life-giving as any other energy out there.
If not more, right? Because I think money, one of the great powers of money is like a magnifying or an exponentializing effect.
Yeah.
Yes.
hmm Yeah. And it's so interesting. I have my Venus in Gemini, so I'm obsessed with relationships.
I think my Venus is in Gemini too.
Okay, so
Oh, interesting. Or sorry, it's in the third house, which I always considered Gemini, but yeah, keep going.
very similar, right? So mine's actually in my midheaven. It's the top of my chart. It's the biggest thing about me.
Oh, wow.
Um, yeah, and I've always been a little bit shy about that because, I think in the society that we live in, it's not as acceptable or enjoyable, I think, for, or not as preferred, right, for a woman to be like big, to be
To take up
sexual
space.
or seductive, or right, all these words that kind of coincide with power. But I think how we enter into relationships with all the beings that we encounter on a daily basis, it matters.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had no words for that until I did the mystery mentorship with Mimi. I think those kinds of relationships are really hard to put into words, especially with money, right? Because we inherit so much through, epigenetics, through like just this, like we were talking about, this field of illusion that we constantly interact with. So when you bring your whole self into these relationships, things that are not real, things that are false, start to fall away. And I think it's scary for a lot of people. So that's why I think a lot of people, like, you talk about shadow work, you talk about money, you talk about even like love or seduction or pleasure. A lot of people will instantly try to shut it down, on the basis of, oh, you're being a hedonist, or especially like America, right? Like we've been seeded with like puritanical views. So that
1,000%.
duality, right? That duality of like, oh, you're good or you're bad, you're going to heaven or you're going to hell, you're right or you're wrong. That's one of the first relationships that we can actually unravel and untangle and like really look at and see like, why is it so important that we be good? Right? Why is it so important that like we are right? Why is it so important that I be a good girl, or I be attractive to the other sex, or my teachers think I'm a good student,
Right.
right? Like all these things I think are to kind of um, trap us and frame us in a certain way so that we identify so strongly with that single facet of who we are that we become like accomplices to our own sleeping, to our own being muffled.
Mm.
Yeah, it's so complex, right? Because there's so many
Mm-hmm.
layers of it, and it's like money represents structures, it represents ego, it represents power, it represents, in so many cases, like health. It's like whatever it is that the individual may associate with it, and it's like there are two sides to every coin. And so it's
Mm-hmm.
just, it's so multifaceted that it can be really hard and overwhelming for anyone to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Um, especially that, right? Like even that statement of like, oh, it can be hard because it is. It's supposed to be,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
right? Like there's a certain, not to use the word lightly, but like divine responsibility
Right.
with money, with land, with power, right? When we are being a steward, when we're being a guide, we have a responsibility to reduce the harm as much as possible
Mm-hmm.
when we transmit like our message or when we share something or when we like take what we know and bring it to the table. I think there's medicine in providing the right dose at the right time.
Yes,
Mm.
absolutely.
Yeah. So spring, I always get wrapped up in money. I always, every year, every single year, I'm like sitting here trying to like think about it, understand it, get to know it. So I think money actually is very seductive.
Mm-hmm.
And so if we, I think as beings that don't play in that yin energy as much, I think money is more yin than yang.
Oh, interesting. Can you talk a little bit more about that? That's such an interesting idea.
Okay, yeah. I mean, do either of you feel that, or are you just like very intrigued?
Actually, as soon as you said that, I was like, I could totally see that. It's like, it's almost like the interaction is so much yin energy that it can easily bring out the yang in the
Mm-hmm.
person
Mm-hmm.
interacting with it.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. I always associate it with the young, with the action, you know? But you're
Mm-hmm.
totally right. It's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's so incredibly yin that it almost always brings out yang.
Yeah.
Wow.
I definitely see that.
Yeah. Like it's that like shadowy, like you can't really see me, but the energy that's moving around it is very young, is very active, is very like, let me make these dreams come true. Let me bring these thoughts and like intangible things into your physical reality.
Oh my
Yeah.
God. You're like blowing my mind right now. I've never I've also never connected it until now to it's the same principle or how should I say it? The same mystery, the same allure as the dark
Mm-hmm.
feminine. That
Mm-hmm.
dark feminine that gets, gets
Yeah.
bad mouthed or gets like stuffed down or gets, kind of uh what's the word? Like, yeah, it gets vilified. That is
Mm-hmm.
so freaking fascinating. I'd never made that connection.
Just so misunderstood, right?
Right, right, exactly. And there's so much power in that. There's so much power in embracing that and bringing that into your being, into your sense of wholeness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, I have to know, how did you learn this about yourself?
The yin thing or the money thing or
Yeah, being a green witch. I mean, that must have been
oh
such a profound experience, or multiple experiences, I'm sure.
I I definitely have learned it mostly through my parents. So this is really interesting. My dad immigrated here first, and then he brought my mom over, and somehow he like worked his way up through a restaurant. So he started working like, as a dishwasher, as the sous chef, as the fried cook, like all these different positions. And I think he's always been very connected to the land, to earth, because so I guess I have to contextualize this quickly. In Chinese medicine, there's something called the wuxing, and they use that to explain so many things. Like if you're really interested in Chinese medicine, I think that's one of the easiest portals and also the hardest portals to access. Right? So wuxing is the 5 elements or the 5 ways or the 5 forms or whatever you want to call it, right? There's 5 distinct energies, 5 beings that you can get to know. We are in the season of spring. So that being is called wood. The color is green. It's associated with the liver and gallbladder meridians, and it's all about growth. When you are expressing your wood element, there's something in Chinese called 大胆. I don't know if you've heard of that, Ellen.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. It's like boldness. Yeah.
Yeah. Like it could also be, if you wanted to translate it as like having really like balls, having balls, having the guts to do something.
That's the best. That's the best translation.
And the word dan is actually gallbladder.
Well, oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's gallbladder. Yeah.
And da is big. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, it's like you have a big gallbladder, which like, what does that mean? What could that possibly entail? The outward expression of the liver and gallbladder meridians, when you are really like in your wood element, you're very bold, you're very brave, you're very courageous. You really care about justice and doing the right thing, but not because it's like, oh, I'm gonna be dualistic and put myself into this, okay, I'm a good person aspect. But it's actually the idea that what you do ripples out into infinity, right? How you show up, the integrity that you use with yourself and others gives other people the courage.
Oh, wow. That's resonating so deeply with me, just because I feel like that's something I have just been receiving a lot over repeatedly, over this year, that however, like the message has always been like, however you show up as imperfect as you are gives others the permission to show up in their imperfection as well, in a beautiful, bold and brave way. Wow.
But this meridian and this energy, when it's out of balance, you're very angry, you're very frustrated, you fly off the handle. Maybe you're very critical, you're very judgmental. You can point out where a lot of people aren't doing the right thing, right? You're like, oh, well, you're such a hypocrite, you're so this, you're so that. Like that energy is when your liver meridian and your gallbladder meridians are typically out of balance. So a lot of Chinese medicine practitioners, a lot of like people who are in the particular area of health and wellness that overlaps with Chinese medicine, if you like go down the wormhole just a little bit, you will notice that there's a lot of talk about liver qi stagnation. Liver qi stagnation is basically when you hold in the thing that you need to say.
Oh, whoa.
That's how I interpret it, at least.
That's so interesting. Okay,
that makes a lot of sense.
Wow. Okay. And does that typically because the liver is associated with the wood element and with
Mm.
springtime, is
Mhm.
this stagnation essentially kind of like more prevalent during this time of year?
Yeah, it can really be like it could show up more during this time. So how you might be able to tell that you might be a little out of balance here is like maybe you have a lot of hiccups. Maybe you burp a lot when you eat. You might experience acid reflux, right? Or your food is coming back up. My husband calls it repeating. Your food is repeating on you.
That's such a great way of looking at it.
Right? Like, but like it makes sense, right? Because technically it's supposed to go down,
Right.
right? Like when our body, when our function is very in balance with itself, the food wants to go down. It wants to meet with our like insides. It wants to meet with our intestines. It wants to be broken down. It wants to be absorbed and it wants to nourish you. But when you're not saying what you need to say, or you're not processing that, what you call, I like to call sacred anger, that divine anger, right? That anger that is bigger than you or me, that anger that kind of runs parallel to social justice, that is too big to swallow.
Right.
Wow.
So it jams you up. And it also can jam you up the other way, right? So you might find yourself really constipated, really like holding on to things, not really letting go. With these 5 elements, all of them are in relationship to each other. So I find it really interesting. A lot of people who maybe struggle with the wood element, maybe like, so other signs that you might be a little out of balance in your wood is you're not flexible
Like
at all.
bodily, like as in you can't really stretch.
That or mentally and
Or
emotionally,
mentally. Oh, interesting.
right? Like you're not really adaptable. You don't like when things change. You don't really have patience for other people's stuff at all. um, you know, you don't really want to be accommodating, and you can't, right? Because you've already stretched yourself to your limit, just not saying these things that are true for you.
Wow.
Wow.
I feel like I experienced that just yesterday.
I was like, this is so weird because we were just talking about it. Because
Yeah,
it's like, yeah, like when you drain yourself and you're just like at your capacity.
Mhm.
exactly. I was telling Sam that I've been kind of playing sort of more of like a like a caretaker and sort of support role the past week for my husband and their band as they've been preparing. And yesterday I finally hit my limit where I kind of blew up about something really tiny. It was not even a big deal. And I was reflecting on it later that night and realizing that like, oh my gosh, it's, you know, my inner child, little Ellen is feeling like she's been ignored, you know? And so I
Mhm.
spent some time just, you know, consoling her and just, you know, telling her like, I see you, you're not ignored. And just like, she just like really wanted a hug. That's really what it was, you know? She just
Mm.
wanted to be seen
Mhm.
and like named and like, you know, honored. And I realized at that moment, like, oh my gosh, I've been giving so much that I haven't been giving to myself at all. And just
Mhm.
feeling it really deeply at that moment.
Mhm.
So, how do you work with someone when this kind of imbalance comes up? Like, you know, if you're in a position where you feel like you're experiencing some of these symptoms, like
Mm.
how's what's a really like
Yeah.
healthy way to process it?
So I think this is part of the reason why I created Sonouros, part of the reason why I make these like acupressure videos. And I think a lot of this is stuff you can do at home, stuff that you can do with yourself. Um, I'm sure like there are instances where it's, you know, very intense. Maybe you do have like actual um, liver dysfunction, right? And then like you really do need to go to a doctor. That's a different story. But we're talking about, for me, I love to look at this through the lens of emotion because we're so censored in that area,
Mm.
right? That our bodies need to tell us like, you're ignoring this emotion, you're ignoring this sign, you're ignoring this thing that I'm trying to tell you. And so each of the meridians, like for example, liver, if you just take your fingers right now, I like to use index finger and middle finger, and you just bring it to your temple, right? There's a spot where you can feel an indent on either side, right? If you just gently pull your fingers over that and breathe, you just might feel like a little bit of ease, like something is just, right? Like maybe that pressure is off a little bit. I find acupressure, I find this self-soothing, the self-touch to be my favorite way to work with these kinds of feelings and emotions. There are a lot of other like ways you can go about this, especially Chinese medicine wise. You can go and meet with a Chinese medicine doctor. You can get acupuncture. You can get muksa, which is a form of mugwort. So I was kind of questioning whether or not I was actually a green witch around 2020, like right when the pandemic really got intense. And then mugwort just started showing up everywhere.
Wow.
Everywhere. Every surface, every spot. And my parents are obsessed with it. So they were collecting it and drying it. And every time I went outside, like a new little family or collection of mugwort would like be fully grown, just looking at me.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, I got the message. Yes, I'm a witch. Thank you.
That's incredible.
What? I love that so much.
I know, when the plants are like calling to you so clearly.
It's undeniable, right?
Yeah. Also, the two fingers on the temple definitely did something.
Oh my God, that was next level. When you were talking, I was like, sha-na-na-na.
Yeah. And you can continue onward, right? So if you want to try something else, you can take your two fingers on both hands and just have the two fingers meet in the middle of your forehead, right? About right in the middle, like above the third eye and not quite at the hairline, right in the middle. And just pull them away from each other down into that temple area. And then just continue tracing your hairline with both fingers. And then when you get to your jaw, just feel that. And you come in a little bit towards the back of the head. And then you just pull it down the neck. This is a lot better if you have oiled yourself, which none of us have. But so if you're washing yourself at night, this is a beautiful way to just kind of like flush some of that.
This is amazing.
I know.
Intense emotion.
Yeah.
And when you're going down your neck, you're just going straight down, right?
Okay. You
Okay.
can also take the sides of your pinkies and just go down because you cover a little bit more surface area. I just really like to play. Yeah, I like to play and like pretend like I'm shaving, right? With the pinky finger here.
Wow.
And just continue moving towards the back.
And you really don't need a lot of pressure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Jamie, do you play with gua sha at all, or do you use that?
I do, but I find that there's a lot of, for me, it brings out like am I doing it right?
Yeah, totally.
Right? Am I doing it right? Am I getting the right results? Is this the right angle? So I have a really interesting thought about tools. There was someone else who said this, who is a martial arts instructor, and he said, any weapon or any tool, anything that is not an extension of your body can be used against you.
Wow.
That's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think, depending on how you use it, right? If you're thinking thoughts about yourself where you're like, am I doing this wrong? oh, this wrinkle looks horrible. This is like, if you have that tendency to be very judgmental, or it's
Mm-hmm.
easy for you to become judgmental of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
right? That maybe that part of you isn't healed. I, this is again, I guess a little spicy, but I'll say it. I think it's better. I think
Uh-huh.
it's more healing, more nourishing to learn what you like with your hands first.
That's such an important point. I think sometimes we get caught up also in the toys and the tools, you know, when we
Mm-hmm.
realize that like, I mean, this is kind of a metaphor for so much, but that your own fingers, your own hands can be that healing tool that you
Mm-hmm.
really need most.
Yeah. So I think, especially in this time of season, um, using your own hands, maintaining that connection with yourself
Mm-hmm.
so that growth state isn't unsustainable,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
right?
Whoa.
You're not leaving yourself behind as you're growing, as you're evolving, because that's just another form of like abandonment and self sabotage, right? To grow so fast that you don't recognize yourself.
Oh my God, totally. That really hit home too.
Yeah.
Yeah, for me too.
There's so much healing in just touch, like
Yeah. And self
positive,
touch.
yeah, and
Yeah.
self touch and self massage. And like, wow, we really underestimate it.
Yeah,
Mm,
truly.
yeah.
This is something that I am starting to come like just it's coming more into my consciousness now. I think having
Mm-hmm.
done some of this womb healing over the last month where
Mm,
you know aside from like masturbation or whatever, it's I just feel like so like again kind of going back to what you're talking about with pleasure too, the self touch is something that we often so like ignore, you know, that
mm-hmm.
it's something that I feel like needs to be so much more a part of our daily life, and it's so readily available to us, it doesn't cost anything, you know,
Mm-hmm.
but we just don't give it the time or the energy that you know, and I think that in itself is also a form of of like self-abandonment too.
Mm-hmm. So, some other things that you can do to work with this energy before I forget is twists. So, if you do yoga, or even if you're just sitting in your chair, just plant 2 feet in front of you and see if you can go, bring the torso, bring that collarbone and rotate it to the side, right? Just breathe into that. And like that whole side of your body is where the gallbladder meridian runs. So you're kind of just like wringing out yourself. I like to think of it like as you're a sponge, you accumulate sensations, feelings, thoughts, energetic imprints of other people like throughout the day. And when we turn to the side and when we look, if you can look behind you, you give yourself like that moment of like, this perspective that I have is just one perspective, right? And yeah, like this season also is the time of the eyes. So the organ is the eyes. And so, like, I think anytime you challenge the way that you look at something, it's like mind blowing. It's like such a big portal that is like so easy to access. We just, I think, have learned to only believe what we see directly in front of us.
Yeah, I love how how do I even say it, I love how the wisdom is so embodied, it's so physical. You know, it's like it's so literal, like literally twisting your body and looking behind you and you're
Yeah.
receiving in just that very simple and you know, something that so many of us do almost unconsciously whenever we're like kind of tired and need to stretch, but oh my gosh,
The
yeah.
intention
Yeah.
behind it makes it totally different. It's so like,
Yeah.
oh, this is why I love like practices like qigong.
Mm-hmm.
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 They're just like they're so powerful in connecting you with your body, connecting you with the earth and the world around you, and just like bringing you back into the moment. It's like, oh, can't get enough.
Yeah, totally. I think totally. And I think all these practices, right? All these things that we've kind of mentioned, and even connecting to spring, or we're actually almost out of spring. We're in the very last seasonal point of spring already for the solar term calendar, which is what I mean, especially China, I think Korea, Japan, all these, I guess, Asian countries, they have the calendar is because of centuries of observation.
Right.
Right. And Chinese medicine is also based on centuries of observation. Right. Originally, how it was discovered, the way that it was practiced in the very, very beginning, people just noticed, okay, these plants always grow together. These things like to come in pairs or in a family. What does it mean? Or this thing, this root that I'm tasting, it has a bitter flavor and it relaxes my intestines. It relaxes my esophagus. It relaxes my stomach. It relaxes my whole digestive system. It's cooling, right? It kind of helps everything move in and down. Right. So it wasn't like this deeply academic thing that it is now, right? It was never about certifications or how to instantly heal somebody. It was always like a long relationship, a long love story, right? There's a difference between like the burn of like, oh, lust and I'm instantly attracted to you versus like, I want to love you. I want to love you for a lifetime.
Yeah. It's not intellectual. It's not from the mind, you know?
No. Yeah. Yeah. And so here's the interesting part, right? I went to college and got a biochem degree. Right. So talk about like going very intellectual, going very like mind first.
Yeah.
Right. Prove it to me. Like, let's talk about theories.
Right.
Because I was rebelling. I was rebelling against this innate way of being.
Right.
I just wanted somebody to explain it to me. I wanted somebody to prove it to me. I wanted to be comforted by the theorems and this idea that there's like a mathematical precision to the way that the universe works. But for me, it was a coping mechanism.
Right.
Right. It was my way of explaining everything, controlling everything, having everything be precise and fit into specific boxes.
Right. Cleaning the mess.
But life exists in the mess, right? Life exists and is fruitful in the gray zones.
Right.
As it needs to be, because for example, today it's 50 degrees here in New Jersey, and 3-4 days ago it was like almost 80 degrees.
Wow.
Right. And in between there was a night it was only like 30 degrees. And so when we observe nature, when we take that time to look outside of ourselves and we see, oh, there's a response, right? I guess going back to what I was saying about my father, he retired early. It was not expected. That's not what he wanted to do. And somehow he has grown this beautiful garden, really big, very bountiful garden. So he's a green witch, and I don't think he necessarily wants to be, but he's very good at it because he observes the plants. But he gives them that time and space to be as they are.
Right.
And that's the thing, right? Like our environments, the people, the places, the ecosystems around us are for us. They're for us to have more information. And if we were to imagine that we were a plant, right, like a tiny little seedling, and it's 30 degrees, if you are not adaptable, if you are not flexible, if you don't believe in your own potential to grow and become a bigger plant one day, you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
Right? Because you're so concerned with something that's not in the immediate present.
Oh my God, that's so profound. You're so absolutely right.
It's so simple, but it's like such a big concept to really wrap your head around.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's why I love to do small things on Instagram. That's why I love to talk to people, and I just like observe them. I just let them talk. I just let them express themselves, because that's not something that most people have in their daily lives.
I love that so much. And it's absolutely true. I feel like, especially now more than ever, it's like this craving for community and for belonging and for like really being seen, and these deeper relationships is more prevalent now, I think, than ever probably it has been, at least in our lifetimes.
Because we've been so starved from it, you know?
Yeah.
I forget who I was speaking to recently, but they were talking about, you know, just the idea of witnessing somebody, like holding space and really just, you know, everything you're just saying, Jamie, like about like letting somebody just talk and just witnessing them, you know, and how like just that one act is so like it brings tears to people's eyes sometimes because they aren't listened to.
Right.
Like that we as a collective have forgotten how to observe one another, how to just be in each other's space and hold space.
And
you
really
know?
to hear each other. Like,
right.
And like to luxuriate in it, right? Because it's not, it's actually such a gift. Such a treasure. It's such a magical thing that right now we are sitting in 3 different places, right? Like
Totally.
completely different, like nowhere near each other physically. And we're able to have this conversation. That's like making me, there's so many moments that I've wanted to cry during this recording. But that's just making me so grateful, reminding me like just how precious this all is.
Yeah, absolutely. It's also something that I feel like in the spring, I feel like sometimes we forget, you know, we forget that we still need those still moments and that not everything is about movement and action.
right.
I feel like I'm being reminded of that in a big way, like through this conversation for sure, but also I think it's just there's this sort of like, I don't know, maybe it's like an invitation that you feel when things start getting warmer and the flowers are blooming and, you know, you almost kind of feel your blood quicken a little bit where you just kind of want to be out and about and like, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I think it's just, I think for me, I need to remember also that the medicine is still in that stillness, in that space of observation, and to not get so caught up in the doing and
right.
in the like heat of the season too. You know what I mean? Yeah.
And that's like really interesting too, because both of you are in much warmer climates than I am. So I wonder if that like really like makes the blood like quicken more. You know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's really interesting because that you were saying earlier that we're at the end of really the spring season, because I was just literally thinking this morning, like, wow, it feels like it's definitely summer already.
Yeah, especially after Coachella and everything.
Yeah. And I was like, what is happening? I started like thinking back over, you know, the last few months. And I was like, what happened to this year? It's going so fast. And I feel like these are still, there's so many like sacred moments that I just want to like cherish and like expand into before I like fully press forward, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jamie, you
Mm.
clearly have so much, like, I love just, again, sitting here and like listening to you talk because there's just so much wisdom in everything that you share, from the very practical to just even like, God, I'm still kind of, like feeling into just even what you shared about twisting and looking backward and having new perspectives. And if there's one tool or piece of wisdom that you always go to that keeps you centered, like what is that for you?
Mm. Ooh, there's so many that like I could say,
Mm-hmm.
but the one that I come back to most often, or the thought that just kind of like reminds me that it's not just the thought, I think that we're not here to suffer.
Mm.
We're not here to be like in prolonged pain. Um, because I think it is really easy when you're in a negative state of mind or a negative emotion to really let that run you, right? Take you for a ride.
Yeah.
Um, but I think you can start over. You can start, right? Like at this precise moment, if the three of us decided, let's start our day over right here, we could.
Oh
Mm.
my God. That's amazing. And I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
be telling myself that like 50 times a day.
Yeah, right? Yeah, I think that's something I love to do. And I think that it's easy to do.
Yeah.
I'm like, I just want things to be easier for people. I don't think that, like Chinese medicine, I don't think that any of the things that, you know, Ellen or Sam, that you've learned as individuals, like, I don't think those things need to be communicated the most complex possible way. I think
Yeah.
that, right, the more digestible it is for other people, to me, that's like a sign of love.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I love you so much that I want this communication to be easy
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because it can be.
Yeah. You know, you're bringing up for me this, it's like the notion of expansion and contraction again that I find myself talking about a lot recently in conversations. And that was like this piece of wisdom that was given to me by the sacred mushroom.
Mm,
It's so fundamental to our existence. It really is so simple. This death and rebirth, this starting over whenever you want to, you know, this claiming that, you know, this, like, I can start over now. Like, it's so, it's such a simple and yet really, really deep kind of idea. But I feel like it's like the principle of our entire universe. It's like the fundamental piece of this universe. It's how we grow. It's how we continue to change and transform and evolve. It's like it is that constant like birth and death, birth and death, birth and death. And it doesn't have to be complicated, you know? Like I think
mhm, mhm,
sometimes I find myself staying away from intellectual books because I don't even know how to say it's like there's even, I would say, like a little bit of shame in that with me sometimes, where I'm like, I just
Mm-hmm.
don't feel my body being pulled towards some of these like very intellectual books, because like on one hand, my brain craves to like understand it on that intellectual level, but for me, so much about it is just feeling, that I kind of I just want to have the experience of it. I want to just experience that frequency, and I want to be able to learn how to bring that frequency back into my body on
Mm-hmm.
demand,
Mm-hmm.
and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to understand it with my head. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. And I think
Yeah.
that's been more of my, I don't know, that's been more my feeling, especially this year. It's been
Mm-hmm.
hard for me to like actually sink into books. Like, I have to like really,
Mm-hmm.
not force myself, but I have to kind of be in the mood for it, because all I want to do is just feel and experience,
Mm-hmm.
you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say that too. Like, in fact, that one book, The Serpent of Light, that I just read was actually the only book I've read this year so far, which is so abnormal. And I got super
Yeah.
into it. It was really fun, but it was like I had to like really wait until something super piqued my interest, because all the other books I tried to start, I was like, it's just not for me right now.
Yeah. There's a little resistance there, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's so interesting because like we are actually such sensual beings that the way that we've been educated and the way that we've been conditioned by society and by one another, um, is to like inherently think that the body, touch, right, these sensations are like lower base energies,
right.
Right.
right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Right. But like you're an animal.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
an animal, right? Like I shit, I eat,
Right.
like we make love, right? We touch one another.
Yeah.
Like there is a frequency, I think, that is being ignored by like the greater consciousness, which is that like in order to be alive, we are consuming,
Hmm.
like not just like physical food, but like in this conversation, right? We're consuming one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have to be willing to be consumed. Um, and that's something that I learned from Michelle Pelazon, now Lipsitz. Like she has holisticism, and like I think that's the most profound thing that she's ever taught me, right?
Wow.
She kind of like has given me, she held me in a way that let me feel like I could be seen, and that it was okay to be seen, and I could share all these little things that are magical to me, right? These points, these foods, what my family lives, breathes every day, but maybe other people don't see,
Yeah.
right? Like that unseen aspect of our personal home lives. I think consuming that is healthy.
Mm-hmm.
I think seeing that is healthy. I think seeing siblings have good relationships. I think seeing family healing in whatever stage it is healing. And I think one of the ways that my family has like touched that is through these plants, right? So my dad ends up sowing tons and tons and tons and tons of seeds and shares them with his brothers and his sisters. And like for a long time they weren't talking because there was like beef after their father died. And it's pretty interesting because my grandmother also just recently passed. She was my last grandparent. And I was very nervous that that would happen again. But watching it in real time, right? Watching the fact that my dad still says to himself, okay, we're fighting, but I know he wants to grow tomatoes, or I know he wants to grow um, like the water spinach, right? Kung Sing Chai, or whatever veggie that he's like growing. He's like, I'm going to still plant extra.
Oh my God. That makes me literally want to cry because there's so much love in that.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
It's like,
but
oh,
that's not the love that we see like shout it out.
Right.
Right.
But that kind of love is so healing. It's so healing to witness. It's so healing to be around.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And like I think like that kin keeping idea, right? It's part of, I think, every type of culture, but I think it's a huge part of witchcraft that nobody talks about. Because how could you be a witch if nobody ever like was with you or held you as being a witch?
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I know that like, you know, everybody's family situation is different. But you came from somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And so maybe your living relatives are not the ones that you're in touch with, but maybe some of your ancestors, you know, you've been able to access them and their benevolence and their love for you.
Mm.
And I think that's also a form of healing and medicine, and it's important, right? Because as much as like new seeds grow, baby plants grow, like the reason those seeds don't just crisp up and die is because there's big trees with leaves and right branches that block the greater part of the sun from toasting up that little tiny baby.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is like a virus of individualism,
Yeah.
of thinking that I am the only one that matters. My experience is the most important of all.
Right.
But as you learn to be in relationship with yourself, you even see there, right? Like that there is more than just your outward projection of who you think you are. There's the part of you that only you know. There's the part of you that maybe your parent knows, or maybe your lover knows, or maybe your friends know. So like that multitude that's contained within you, that infinity that you are, how could it be possible that you are just the most important thing? Because even within you, right, there's many of you. So who do you prioritize? Which one? Which specific Ellen or Sam or Jamie do we say, that's the only one that gets to live?
Right.
Maybe Sam the artist, she's like, come on, give me a shot. I'm ready. Or maybe like Ellen's like, I just want to be a mermaid. I've always wanted to be a mermaid, and I have let that dream die. I let that dream die because it's not practical, but why not?
I love that so much.
It's true.
It is true.
I have always wanted to be a mermaid too. Oh my God, Jamie, thank you so much for just being who you are and just for sharing so much of yourself with us. Yeah.
Nothing short of magical, truly.
I know. Yeah. I feel like I received so much. It was like I was being watered today.
I know. Me too.
Thank you both for having me.
Yeah, I cannot wait to continue this conversation.
Yeah, I really hope we get to.
Yeah, for sure. We are so excited to announce our new community membership program, Get Lit, on Patreon. We believe healing is about the journey back home to ourselves. And as we bravely journey into quantum spaces, we slough off the layers of conditioned beliefs and defensive armor that keeps us dim and dull, small and silent, fearfully hiding our true light and voice. In these journeys, we liberate ourselves from the stories that limit us as we begin to face and transmute our traumas and fears We begin to live and create from a space of love. We begin to shine brighter, and our growing luminosity invites others to shine brighter too. We offer 5 monthly journey circles into these quantum spaces through breath, imagination, sound, and energy healing. We're also stewards of entheogenic medicines, the sacred mushroom and cannabis sativa, and we welcome their guiding presence in our journey circles as they are calling to each of us individually. We have 6 membership tiers to serve different psychonautical explorers at various levels and investments of time and energy. Every brave explorer gets to carve out their own path and step into the mysteries of the universe at their own pace. None of us walk alone. This journey home is meant to be shared with one another, and we're so honored to create and hold this safe, inclusive space for all of us to walk bravely into the unknown together. Let's get lit. Find us now at patreon.com/wearealldaughters. Music for Woo New is composed by Adam Miller.